Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about a drama thriller film called Z for Zachariah from 2015. Enjoy your viewing. There are almost no people left in the world destroyed by nuclear war. Anne's family survived because many years ago they settled in the mountains, where radiation does not reach. Her father went in search of the survivors. Her younger brother followed, and she was left alone. In her free time from cultivating the land and preparing for winter, Anne visits the city, where the radiation is much stronger. Here she buys books and household items. She stays here for a short time to avoid receiving a high dose of radiation. After returning home, she thoroughly washes off any contamination that may have remained on her skin. She has to do everything herself: repair the fence, dig, hunt. She is always alone, and she is tired of it. Last winter, Anne almost died of cold and hunger. One day while hunting, when she was checking her traps for hares, her dog smelled something. He ran to the road, and when Anne came to him, she found a mobile trailer with a camping house in it. The girl hid to see who the owner of the house was. It turned out to be an adult man in a protective anti-radiation suit with a dosimeter in his hands. He had obviously come from far away, and now he was incredibly happy to find a land with almost no radiation. The man immediately took off his suit and ran to a nearby waterfall. Anne decided to come out of hiding, but when she found the stranger, he was already swimming in the water. The man was scared and grabbed a gun. But Anne explained to him that the water source was far from the valley, which meant it was contaminated with radiation. The man jumped out of the water, but it was too late. He had received a serious amount of radiation, and the dosimeter confirmed it. He felt very sick, and his strength was leaving him. He quickly explained what medications Anne had to give him to keep him alive. She had to carry her husband on her back. In the yard of her house, she washed him and then put him to bed. The next day, she went back to the stranger's trailer to get the medicine. She brought the trailer back to her house and continued to take care of the stranger until he felt better. When he regained consciousness, she found out that his name was Loomis. Anne wanted Loomis to get well. Her father was a pastor, and he built a small church in the valley so that the locals could come and listen to the sermons. In this church, there was a musical instrument that Anne still plays from time to time. Anne's care worked, and Loomis got back on his feet. He told the girl that he was a military engineer, and he was saved only because he was in an underground bunker at the time of the bombing. He had designed the protective suit he wore across the country, and everywhere he saw only dead people and destroyed cities. Loomis was ready to give up his search when he found this place. Anne tells Loomis about her brother and father. She shows him a photo, and Loomis thinks he recognizes her brother's face. Anne is busy with the farm, milking the cow, taking care of the yard, while Loomis is recovering from radiation damage. She digs the soil by hand, even though she has a tractor. Loomis asks her about it, and Anne admits that the tractor is out of fuel, so it doesn't work. Loomis then writes her instructions on how to get rid of this problem, and she manages to do it. Now they have fuel for the tractor. Anne is very religious, while Loomis does not believe in God. Despite this, the girl is drawn to him, and she lets him know what she wants. Loomis is an engineer, so the first thing he thought of was electricity. However, the old generator broke down. So Loomis and Anne go to the waterfall where Loomis almost died. He says that a working power plant can be built in this place if there is enough wire. All you need to do is direct the water flow to a large wheel to which the generator will be attached. To make the wheel, Loomis suggests using the church built by Anne's father, but the girl is against it, because it is all that is left of him. There are no other materials to build the wheel. Loomis agrees that other options can be considered, but the church should not be touched for now. One day, Anne discovers that the hen has not laid any eggs. She begins to suspect that someone has broken into their yard and stolen the eggs. While Anne is working, Loomis goes to the local store to investigate. The girl had already taken almost everything, but there was enough beer left for Loomis to get drunk. He couldn't relax, and it's hard for him to watch Anne work alone, and Loomis can't do much to help. Anne brought him home, where they had a fight. The next day, Loomis had to apologize for his behavior. Anne decided to have a romantic dinner with Loomis, so she cooked some food, opened a bottle of wine, and lit candles. After she drank some alcohol, she asked Loomis to dance. During the dance, they kissed, but Loomis refused to continue. Despite Anne's wishes, he pulled away and explained to her that being too close would only make things more complicated. They needed to spend more time together before doing so. Anne agreed. The next day, Anne went to check the traps. Near one of them, she saw a young man, Caleb. He confessed that he had been stealing the eggs because he was afraid of being shot if he went to the owners of the house. Loomis was reluctant to see Caleb. He checked him with a dosimeter and found a small amount of radiation. Caleb told him that he and other miners had taken refuge in the mine when the bombing occurred. He alone managed to survive, but there was no good news on the radio. So he got to the surface and came to this valley. Caleb and Anne lived nearby. Anne went to Caleb's school for competitions. Loomis sees that the two have a lot in common, but it doesn't make him feel any better. Caleb has heard that there is a town with survivors on the border with Mexico. He intends to go there. Loomis doesn't mind Caleb leaving, but Anne insists that he stay with them for a few days. He needs to recover and improve his health. At the table, Loomis tells the story of how he met a teenager on his way here who had been affected by radiation. He begged him to kill him, but Loomis could not do it. He left the boy on the roadside. Caleb told him that other miners had been killed by his partner, but for some unknown reason, he spared Caleb. At that moment, Caleb looked into the eyes of the killer for the first time. When they were alone, Loomis confessed to Anne that the teenager might have been her younger brother. Loomis shot him anyway, and it was only because of him that he found this place. He simply walked in the direction the boy had come from. Caleb stayed with Loomis and began to help Anne with the housework. They went hunting together with Loomis. When Caleb found out about the power plant, he convinced Anne to sacrifice the church for it. Together, they dismantled the church building and began to make a big wheel out of it. They also stretched a wire that ran from the waterfall to Anne's house. Loomis realized that Anne liked Caleb. He thought that they might have feelings. Loomis started to feel jealous because Caleb is younger than him. He thinks that it matters to Anne. Loomis lets Anne know that he would be okay with her and Caleb starting a relationship. She is upset by his words. Finally, they managed to install a platform and a wheel on the waterfall. And now they need to put a water chute on top and direct the flow in the right direction. To celebrate this event, they have a festive dinner. Then the dancing begins, and at the end of the evening, everyone goes swimming in the pond. Caleb suggests that they play a game where they have to find a bottle at the bottom of the pond. He helps Anne find the bottle, and they stay underwater for too long. Loomis realizes that Caleb is trying to seduce the girl. Loomis is drunk, and he is afraid of losing her. When they get to land, Loomis pulls her aside and tells her he loves her. At home, however, Loomis is too drunk to continue the evening. Anne puts him to bed and then goes to Caleb's and engages in interesting activities with him. The next morning, Loomis realizes that something has happened between Anne and Caleb. He is jealous and tells Caleb that he asked Anne to seduce him in order to keep such a valuable employee. Caleb sees that Loomis is only saying this out of jealousy. Together, they go to install the chute on the waterfall. Caleb goes down in a hazmat suit to fix it, while Loomis keeps an eye on him from above. When they finish, Caleb slips, but Loomis pulls him up. Suddenly, the boy falls again, but Loomis saves him again. Caleb looks into his eyes and realizes that for the second time in his life, he is looking into the eyes of a killer. Anne stays at home. She is happy because they now have electricity, but Loomis returns with sad news. He tells her that Caleb has decided to leave them. He asked her to say goodbye to Anne and then went to look for the town where the survivors were rumored to be. Anne doesn't believe it, so she runs after Caleb, but can't find him anywhere in the valley. While she was gone, Loomis moved the musical instrument from the church to Anne's barn. He set up a little place of faith there, which she missed so much. If you have watched the video so far, you should know that I am happy to have viewers like you. Thank you for watching to the end. Subscribe to the channel and follow the news. Klontsak Recapped was with you. See you soon.